Hi guys, welcome. My name is Rich Pasini, and today's topic, I just want to share something with you guys. It's called Never Giving Up on Your Dreams. Now, a lot of you may wonder, why do I make a video like this? It's because I've been having some thoughts of my own about being or starting a business and being an entrepreneur. And I find that it's not always the easiest road. You know, they say the path of least resistance is the people travel on or like to travel on. Something along that line, so don't quote me on that. But you know, what brought it on is in my other video I was talking about the reseller news. Towards the end of it, I was talking about going into buying. I got into the topic about buying more inventory and how to curb that spending on it and sell more and buy less. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because sometimes, as I stated earlier, more money goes out than comes in sometimes, and it is a slow period for this time of the year for some reason. I don't know why, but it is. And I listened to some other sellers on YouTube, and they were saying the same thing, that sales are slow. I need the business. I got bills coming up. We all do, and and that's what brings this topic up. But the reason why I'm bringing this topic up is because there were times, now mind you, I got, our company, we had a layoff back in June of 2016, and I've been doing this a little more over than a year now. And just because we go into a business venture doesn't mean you're going to be an overnight success. You're not going to become successful within a year. If you do, I like to hear the story. I love to hear those stories because I got some stuff I want to put up on here too. It's pretty inspiring. It's like from quotes from Albert Einstein and Winston Churchill and stuff like that. And you may have heard of them. You may have heard some of these quotes, and then again, you may have not. But there were times like I seen myself with this type of business that it is, first off, it's very competitive. There's no doubt about it. I mean, anybody will tell you that there. And if they're telling you otherwise, they're lying to you. It's a very competitive field. And, with that in mind, that it is very competitive, we have to take note that the things that we do, to try to stand out amongst the rest of us, or among the rest of the sellers, is not going to be an easy task. I have a lot of listings on eBay. Well, not a lot, but enough. A little over 300. And I've been, wording it with best offers and, buy it now type of things. And, I've been reducing prices and stuff like that. And let's face it, I mean, there are a lot of people out there that are selling the same things for some cases a lot less than what I'm selling for. So people say, well, that's your fault, you should just drop your price down. And I have. But the thing is, I can't drop them down so much where I'm not making any profit, right? So anyway, I don't want to kind of like curtail out of that topic, but when I'm saying that never giving up on your dreams, if people do give up, quitting is the easiest thing to do in this world. It really is. And by doing that, just giving up and throwing a towel in, you didn't succeed in life. What's that old saying? Necessity is the mother of invention. Now, I'm not saying you're an inventor, I'm an inventor, we're going to invent something. Although I have an idea of something I want to put a patent on, but I'm still in the thought phase right now about that thing. I'm still thinking about it. But it would be nice to do something like of that nature, to try to get something, that somebody else doesn't have. Although, from what I understand with patents, if you have an idea, is a person can somewhat similar copy your idea as long as they tweak it a little, add something in there or change the design around or something like that. This is what I heard anyway. How true it is, I don't know. But if we all think like that, and we kind of like throw the towel in right away, you take a guy like Jeff Bezos with Amazon. If he didn't take that initiative to start an online book business, which he did, that's why I understand he started his business selling books online. And look at today, Amazon's a behemoth. It's growing in leaps and bounds. I mean, I don't know. I forget what the market value was. I think it was over 400 billion, something along that line. You know, something along that line about the company's market value, and it's phenomenal. It's just basically it's just an idea. You know, it's like an idea popped in the guy's head, and he said, "Hey, you know, what the heck? Let's try it." I sell on eBay. Piero Midia, same thing with him. He started eBay back in 1995, selling a broken laser pen on the internet on his channel. I think it was used to be auctionhouse.com or something along that line, and then eventually changed. You know, eventually went to eBay. But you know, these people who think of this, you know, come up with these ideas and stuff like that, they're no different than you and I. You know, if you look, I think I did one once before about the successful entrepreneurs, billionaires today, that there are quite a few of them out there that didn't finish college. They just have high school diplomas, and I think I did one in one of my videos. If I bring it back up again, I'll try to recall it. I'll bring it up and let you guys check it out for yourselves. But there are billionaires out there that only have a high school education. Bill Gates, from what I understand, he didn't finish college. I believe Mark Zuckerberg didn't. I'm not sure. I know there's a lot more. I don't know how many more, but there's quite a few more that just have, for what I read, this is what I've read now. I'm not just throwing this up out there in the area. That these people who are successful like that just have a high school graduate, you know, just high school graduates. Okay, I mean, they did attend college, so they do have some college background. But as far as completing college, getting their MBAs or master's degrees, I didn't hear of any of them that, you know, stating that one of the stories I read, you know, that they went back to school after they became, you know, after they started the business. I guess I look at it this way: if you become that successful and you're making millions of dollars and you're working your way up to a billionaire status, why would you go back to college, right? But I'm not encouraging that, and I don't want this video to discourage going to school. I'm just relaying something out there. I have two daughters, and I want them to get an education. Okay, yes, they're older now, of course, but we do. You know, I did talk about that there, and it wasn't to plant the bug in their head and saying, "Hey, you see, this person did it. Hey, Dad, you know, this person did it. They didn't go to college. They just got a high school diploma, and they got." That's the heroes say. You know, I don't buy into that. To me, education is number one. Okay, I know they say business is based on common sense, but I would like my kids to be educated. Okay, so they are attending college. One of my daughters is going for a bachelor's degree in a medical field, and my other daughter is going for in a legal field. Okay, but they are going to college. I would never discourage anybody to drop out of school and try to pursue a business. People may do that. There are probably people out there that do it. I, on the other hand, would not encourage it. Get yourself an education. Go to school. Get an education. Although you hear all these stories about people going to school and they're starting a business on the outside, and then later on the business becomes successful and they end up quitting school. Listen, that's totally up to you. I mean, me, I don't encourage that. Not that type of stuff. You know, I mean, I like my kids to, like I said, I want them to go to school and get educated. And I think that's what all parents should be focusing on, letting their kids go to school and get a good education. But anyway, I'm gonna drop some. You know, I got a website I went to, and I'm just gonna show you some of the quotes that some business people have made, and I'm gonna flash up there on some pages there. About some of the quotes from Albert Einstein and some Winston Churchill about never giving up on your dreams. They're just quotes, and these are from people like that. There's a whole bunch of them. I'm not going to put tons of them up there, but it's just to inspire you guys out there, men and women, who want to go into a business, about just get involved in any type of business. You might find a niche somewhere. I don't know. I was trying to find a niche in selling the pre-owned merchandise and some new stuff, but what I mean a niche is find something that's going to constantly sell. I mean, I have a variety of things up there. Um, Not like some of the other sellers. I mean, there's sellers out there that have thousands of items listed. They cover from A to Z. I don't have that. I don't have the facilities to store furniture or anything, big objects and stuff like that. Some of these top-rated power sellers, they probably have storage facilities where they could house all that stuff. I don't have that, so I have limited stuff. But I'm trying to brand my name too. That's why, like, I built my website. You know, I mean, it's not top of the line website, but I learned. You know, I had an idea to say, hey, you know, let me try this here. You know, I've always liked retailing. However, I didn't get into the retailing field. I went to school for business, of course, but my background is for IT, and I've been in the IT field for quite some time. And but I always liked retail, and I did it as a side hobby at one time when I was working in the retail field. I was importing musical greeting cards overseas from China, and that was an interesting story. When I was importing them, I had to get a fax machine and invest money in the fax machine because I couldn't understand, they didn't understand language. I didn't have a translator, and I didn't have nobody to translate for me. So I'd have to call up in the wee hours in the morning, their time, like around 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, to place orders for greeting cards. I was buying musical Christmas greeting cards, and I found it to be annoying because every time I had to talk to somebody, they had to get somebody to translate it, to feed back to me, talk to me in English. So I ended up buying a fax machine, and I got their fax number over there in China, and I'd fax the orders in. And I used to buy a box. I don't know, maybe I think I made it came out for like 100 cards, came in at 200 cards, whatever it was. And my mom, but rest her soul, was taking them to a job, and at lunchtime she was selling them for me. And it wasn't bad for a 19-year-old kid. At the time, she'd come home and say, "Oh, Rich, here's I got $90. I sold some cards for you. Got $90 for you, And my mother, she wanted the money she could take, and she used to say, "No, you keep it, it's for you. Put it towards your schooling, whatever, education." But I started getting into the feel of it like that, and then later on, I started at the time, my wife at the time, but then she was a girlfriend. Then we started a catalog business. And the first catalog, I still had the name registered. Both the names are registered still, I believe. But anyway, it was a U.S. retail merchandise company, and then another one was called Econologue USA. And there were black and white catalogs. I tried to make a go out of it. Selling them. Not selling them. I was, I had a mailing list made up, and I would mail out these catalogs, little thin ones. They're like almost like a penny saver. But back then it's what I could afford. It was on newspaper print, so it wasn't like glossy pages and stuff like that. But anyway, so I would do that there. I ordered them. I had them took them to a print shop, and I had to think about maybe 500 catalogs printed up. And I'd buy a mailing list, and I would mail them out to people, and I got some response from them. I didn't become rich off it. I opened up a P.O. box, and back then, one of the big things, if you want to say niche, was I was selling a 5-piece English leather. It was the English leather 5-piece nylon luggage set, and it would fold up, and it was all nylon. So your garment bag, where you pulled it out of this little bag, yay big, and people, they bought it. They bought it. I made a decent amount, decent profit off it too. But the thing is with that was I was advertising that back then for a quarter display ad in Teen Magazine. I think it was Teen Magazine or 17, one of them. And it was expensive back then. I took a gamble on it. It cost $795 just to put that little display ad in there. I did all the type work, all the typesetting, the photography, and stuff like that. Yeah, they tell you how to send it into the magazine publishing house, business over there. And I followed what their rules were, how to do it, and stuff like that, and it worked. And the logic behind it back then, when I was reading in the books, when I was studying retail business management and mail order as well, that when you advertise in a magazine, especially a magazine like 17 magazine or Teen magazine, you have that listing in there for a whole month. That's the nice thing. And the logic behind it was, from what I read in college too, that magazine would go from one teenager to another. Oh, let me see. Oh, you got that issue? Or you got January's issue of Teen Magazine? Can I see it? And next thing, that girl's looking at it, or giving it to her friend, or giving it to this one out. And next thing, or it's in a dentist, or doctor's office. When I used to go to when I went to the dentist, you would see it in there. You know, you would see the 17 magazine. They have a whole bunch of them. Business. They got all the, you know, all these the entrepreneur magazines and so on and so forth. They'd all be sitting in the doctor's office, and there you would see 17 magazine would be there, and that would be there for the whole month. You know, and that was the good thing. It was expensive to advertise in there, but it was also a good thing to have, because your display ad is going to be in there for a whole month. You know, I did that for a while, and it was good. You know, so I kind of got the feel of retailing, mail order, online business back in the now we're talking back in the 80s now. Okay, so it just goes to show you, I'm not going to get into my age, although people may find out through other sources, but that was back in the 80s, and it was pretty good. I mean, I liked it. I really had the feel for it. But you know, as time went on, you know, things change. You kind of like have to, you know, save money, put money away, especially if you plan to get married or buying a house. You can't make those large investments anymore, you know, as far as like magazines. So I kind of like put that on the back burner. But anyway, so what I'm trying to get at the point is, it's kind of like instilled in you. You know, if you had that idea that you always wanted to do something like that, you had a passion for, you know, that particular thing you wanted to do, go for it. If you had a dream, go for it. Remember, in order for a dream to come true, you got to have a dream, you know. And I don't want people to give up on things. I don't think it's the right thing. Although, let me say one thing, though. I will clarify this, and if I sound like I contradicted myself, I'm sorry, but I have to state this here. I'm going to do this here, this business, as long as I can. As long as the good Lord allows me to type and have a clear head to do it. Where I can't type anymore, you know what I'm saying? God forbid. I mean, that would be horrible. But I'm going to do this business well into my retirement age, if I should live that long. And the reason why is, if I could live in my 70s and 80s, whatever, and I have a clear faculty, like, you know, I could look at Warren Buffett. He's what, 80-something years old. He's still got a good head on his shoulder. He still could think, and he's up and around. I mean, he's not no spring chicken, but he could still manage his his corporation, Berkshire Hathaway, right? I would like to be like that. You know, he's like a role model for me, because he's an older person and he's still in the game, and that's how I feel. You know, I don't want to retire and just sit around and watch television all day. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, because some people can't do certain things. Maybe some people don't have the computer knowledge, or maybe they can't do certain things. They got, you know, physical limitations where they can't get up and around. They can't go to a thrift store to buy stuff and come home and take pictures, you know, because they might have some kind of physical condition, you know. So that's understandable. But if I'm able, you know, an able-bodied mind where I can get up and cook and clean and do what I got to do, and if I have to run to the post office and drop packages off, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. You know, Tavis Smiley, I don't know if people out there familiar with Tavis Smiley. He's on a PBS was on there. I don't know if he still is, you know, for a show, a PBS channel, and he was interviewing that guy there, Ernest Borgnine. And he goes to Ernest. Now, Ernest Borgnine, I think back then when that aired, I don't remember what year it was. So don't quote me on it. I think he was 92, I think. And I remember him saying, Ernest, you're 92 years old and you're still up and around doing, you know, you're still producing and doing films. He turned around to me and said, Tavis, what am I going to do? Sit in a rocking chair until I drop dead in a rocking chair? You know? I mean, now, mind you, years later he did pass away. I mean, I think he passed away at either 94 or 95. So a couple of years later he did pass away. But there's a man in his 90s wanted to still keep busy. You know, I don't want to sit around and just do nothing. And if I didn't have a business, folks, I would be on a computer researching, doing research. I love learning. I like to learn about history. I like to learn about the economics. I like to learn about the technology, you know, space and all that stuff there. I like learning about all that there. History, science, I like all that there. You know, physics, how things work. When I watch shows, I watch documentaries. I'm not much of a television buff, to be honest with you. I'm lucky if I watch, and this is no exaggeration, I'm lucky if I watch 5 hours of TV a week. Half of the time, some of the times the TV's not even on. I don't even turn the TV on. I don't care for the television programs. Not for nothing. I'm not a TV buff. And I'm not saying anything bad out there for people who do watch a lot of TV, but for a person like myself, TV is not my bag. I don't care for it. But anyway, let's get out of this here, and let me just go into this thing over here, this website. Okay, here we are. Now, if you want to read this story for this article for yourself, folks, it's at business.com. And as you can see here, it says, never give up. 9 successful entrepreneurs who failed at least once. Here it says over here, I don't know if I'm going to read all of it, but it's only 9. But it says over here, with Bill Gates and Traffic Data, have you ever driven across those weird black cables and stretched across the road, measuring the traffic by counting the tire bumps? So did Bill Gates and a few of his friends. This is what they this is why they found why he founded Traffic Data. And you could read the stories like this here. It's pretty interesting. I didn't know about this here at one point. I watched the Pirates of Silicon Valley, and it shows you how he started. I don't remember this here about what they're talking about the Traffic Data here, but in the story Pirates of Silicon Valley, he does write a program for the I can't think of that computer now. The Altair, and that word was mentioned in their Traffic Data. So I guess that's where that comes from. That's how I guess came into play as far as with that movie. And well, like I said, you could check out these articles here. It's on business.com. The other one is Steve Jobs. It says fired by a company he helped founded. Okay, in the movie again, Pirates of Silicon Valley, you'll see that there. They talk about that there, and in the movie it depicts him. I can't think of that guy's name, John something. He's the one who ended up firing him. He even though Steve Jobs founded the business, he ended up getting fired from the company. And but eventually they brought him back. I think he came back. It says it was ousted from Apple in mid '80s, but eventually later on he came back here in 1997. So that's a situation that you would think a guy like that, after he started the company, gets fired from. You think he would just throw the towel in, but he did end up coming back. Arianna Huffington, multiple rejections before she found success. Okay, after Arianna Huffington finished her second book, she received rejection notices from nearly 40 publishers. When she ran for governor of California, she received less than 1% of the popular vote. However, she did learn something from her failed political campaign. And then it goes on and talks about that there. It says, according to the Huffington, running for office taught her about the power of the internet. She used this newfound knowledge to launch her website, the Huffington Post. And again, that's still in effect today. You can still read about it. And it tells you right here, this is a news website and blog that is among the most well-known and frequently visited on the internet. She has a very positive view of failure and calling it a necessary part of success. Okay, here's Thomas Edison, too stupid to learn anything. Who would ever think a man who invented the light bulb, right, and electric, whatever, he calls himself too stupid to learn anything. Thomas Edison was as expelled from school being unteachable. Fortunately, Edison's mother believed in him and encouraged him to continue his education. That's what I was talking about earlier, folks. Never give up on education. I can't stress it enough. Let your kids go to school if they want to do a business on the side, but make sure to get that education. Believe me, it'll pay off in the end. It says even teaching himself at one point. Things didn't get any better for Thomas. When he entered the workforce, he was unceremoniously fired from his first job because he was not productive enough. And again, you can read a little more about this here. I'm not going to read the whole thing verbatim. This is basically just to give you a little overview on these people who had failures in their life but came back. This one here is Walt Disney, failed production company and labeled as lacking creativity. Well, we know what a Walt Disney Company is today, right? They're very successful, and as far as I'm concerned, let alone I love Walt Disney World, and I like Walt Disney's cartoons. They were very clean and wholesome cartoons, and they were rated for anybody could watch them, And but again, this is what's going on though. That's what I'm trying to say. You can't give up. Here's Fred Smith, a failing grad for FedEx. Actually, it wasn't a failing grade for FedEx. It says actually it wasn't a failing grade. According to the legend, Fred Smith received a C on his writing assignment in which he outlined the basic concept behind FedEx. Fred had noticed that automation was becoming the norm, and realized that this was something that would impact the logistics behind the package delivery system, along with many other things. And according to the story, when I read here, another story, I didn't read on the business.com, his college professor told him that that idea would never work, and it did. So later on, and you know how successful they are, it's a multi-billion-dollar business. It says it right here. Apparently his instructors did not share his vision. Fortunately, his idea made the transition from college students' idea to one of the most well-known companies on the planet. Okay, so it just goes to show you, even though you have an idea and you may hang around with a lot of naysayers, people say, oh, that'll never work that way. Listen, follow your gut, go with your own intuition, and don't let people put you down. Stay away from the naysayers. You want to be around positive people. Here's one over here, Nick Woodman, Funbug Flop to GoPro. He's the guy who started the GoPro. Okay, it says over here. Now I'm not too familiar with. I know of him, but I don't remember too much of the history with him as far as that part goes. But it says over here, have you ever heard of the Funbug? If you weren't one of those investors who lost a portion of your few $1 million in funds, you probably haven't. And then it goes on to talk about it here, and he's the one who produces the GoPro. Woodman, he started that business, the GoPro cameras. Here's another one, J.K. Rowling, writing Harry Potter on the Dole. This talks about her. Again, you could read about her. It says over here, has forgotten her humble beginnings. She's been asked as why she doesn't establish citizenship in a place where she could find shelter for paying taxes, from paying her taxes. Yeah, and then you can read this here, folks. It talks a little about her. Again, you're not going to get the full-blown version, but you could read this article. It just gives you a basic idea of what's going on. And of course, Jeff Bezos, costly mistakes launching Amazon. We all know about Jeff Bezos, right? We know he owns Amazon, and we talked about it earlier in this video. So it says over here, Bezos, founder of Amazon, made some amazing mistakes getting the company off the ground. Even more after the company launched. Here are just a few of them. When the company began selling toys, in addition to selling books, Bezos insisted that the business model had be changed, and that the company would purchase and store millions of dollars in toys. In total, more than 100 million toys were purchased and warehoused in anticipation of the Christmas season. After the Christmas season, 50 million toys were left. They were mostly given away due to the lack of space. And then it goes over here to talk about when Amazon first launched, people could leverage a glitch that would allow them to buy a negative number of books and receive a credit from the company. Unfortunately, Bezos created an amazing company culture has managed to maintain whatever. Yeah, and again, this is it. Like I said, these are only 9. Okay, these are only 9 entrepreneurs that followed their dreams and they did what they had to do. So don't give up, folks. If there's something out there that you want to try to fill that void, go for it. And I'm just gonna leave you with these things here. I'm gonna also, like I said, I'm gonna post up there some of the images of the famous quotes that these people made, just to give you a little more insight and keep your morale up. Don't give up, So I just wanted to share that with you guys. And, thanks again for watching. I know it's kind of like you're probably wondering why I ramble on about this never giving up. It's because, like I said earlier, I've been thinking about my own situation. And I'm not saying because, I have, these different moments where I say to myself, should I? Or shouldn't I? Or should I just, when I got laid off back in 2016, should I just gone back into the workforce, or do I try to pursue, my own dreams? For those who don't know me, or know of me, like I said, back in June of 2016, my company had layoffs, and our jobs went overseas. And prior to that, not back to back, but I went to one company. The first company I went to was in the IT field. After 9/11, 65 people lost their job. So I was part of that layoff because I was only there for 15 months, and I thought I was going to retire there. So with that, moving on, I went to another company. He was working in the mortgage industry, and we all know with the subprime with back then, all that stuff going on. Just got promoted to a loan sales auditor, and the company went bankrupt. Well, that's what happens. And in the last company I worked for, it was a big company on the island. Well, not super big, but big enough. And is in the electronics industry. And I believe, if I'm not my memory serves me, I think 1,000 people total in different areas of the company had lost their jobs, and they went overseas. From what the way I understood it after reading about it, and and that's where I am today. So I went through 2 company layoffs and 1 company bankruptcy. All right, things happen. What are you going to do? This is what happens in life. And I'm not the only one. I mean, I wasn't the only one affected. There's other companies. As a matter of fact, I just didn't resell the news that Amazon is going to cut is having layoffs over there. But they're going to, supposedly from reading the article, it was in a reseller news, they're going to, those people that are losing their jobs are going to place them in other areas within the company. So they say, it just goes to show you, even though a big company like Amazon has layoffs, Microsoft had layoffs. There's other companies out there, if you just do a Google search, what big companies are having layoffs, and you'll see what I'm talking about. I only know about the Amazon one. As a matter of fact, eBay had layoffs too. I was doing a reseller news, and I was doing it live, as we are now. And, I'm looking over there, and I said, oh, look at this here. And I clicked it on, and it said, eBay's having layoffs. I think it was in their corporate headquarters. So, sometimes you work for big corporations. It doesn't mean you got that solid foundation where you say, oh, I'll never lose my job. Today, nothing's guaranteed. Nothing's written in stone. As fast as a company hires you, that's as fast as they can hire you. And I feel bad because a lot of people that have lost their jobs. I belong to this website called Job Case, and I get notifications every day from people. Not for me, not asking me for advice. They're called Job Case, and what it is everybody that lost their jobs is looking for jobs. They go into this website and they try to help one another out. And you hear people, it's so sad. Some people are, they're begging these companies to hire them, and it's like one person will write there, I need help so bad, I'm going to lose my house, or I'm going to lose my, I'm going to be evicted from my apartment if I can't find a job right away. And then they talk about age discrimination. I'm up there too, believe it or not. We talk about age discrimination. I'm up there too, where if I do go back into the workforce, I might have a hard time myself getting a job because of my age. But it's a shame because I do believe a lot of companies, not a lot, but there are a percentage of companies I think will not hire a person, in a certain age bracket because they probably figure first, how many more years could you put in before you retire? Okay, so let's say you get a person that's in their late 50s or 60s, whatever, and they're going for a job. They're going to apply for a job. The employer might look and say, well, this person, if they retire at 65, what, we're only going to get 3 years out of them? And I guess they probably feel it's not worth it training them or whatever, only to know that later on they're going to retire. If I was to go back into the workforce, I'd probably be working, if the company allowed me, I'd probably work until my 70s or 80s if I had to. That's if I didn't want to pursue something, business. But let me tell you something. Even if I was to go back, not to contradict myself, but even if I was to go back to the 9-to-5 job, I will always, and I repeat, I will always do an online, an e-commerce business, whether it be with eBay, Amazon, or my own. I would always do that there. I never give up on that there. And again, if I could do it, I'll always create YouTube videos too, to keep my channel going. It's something I enjoy doing. I love doing videos, and I like selling online. To me that's like my thing. I like it, and like I said again, I hope and pray that people that you don't give up on your dreams, but at the same time don't quit your day job to pursue your dreams because if you quit your day job and you're trying to pursue your dream and you don't have enough money to keep you going, then you're going to be behind the 8 ball. But if you're going to pursue your dreams, keep your day job. Most of all, get your education. I know you read stories about people going to school and they start their business and they eventually get out. They drop out of college to do it. If people say, well, what do you got to say about that? What I have to say about that, I would say stick with the school. At least get your degree, because business isn't a guarantee. Okay? Business is not a guarantee. Just because you go into a business, I mean, I don't sound like I'm contradicting myself here, because you're saying, yeah, but you're talking about Bill Gates and Zuckerberg, that they didn't finish college and they went on to be billionaire. That's far and few. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it doesn't mean because I read that story, I'm a high school graduate, I got college behind me. It doesn't mean I'm going to be like them. Okay, and I'm not saying it to contradict myself, but business is not a guarantee. We can't. The other thing is, you can't always look to somebody else's success and say, I'm going to be just like them. That's like me saying, I'm going to be the next Amazon. I'm going to be the next eBay. That may never happen. Maybe I'll never get to that stage, but I might not get to that level, but I may have a business model where if I can make it, turn this business into making a substantial amount of money for myself, where I could, live comfortable. That's a success in my life, as far as I'm concerned. I think people base success on different levels. People look at a person, they drive around a Bentley or a Rolls Royce or a Ferrari or a Lamborghini and live in a big multi-million-dollar mansion. That's, to them, that's success. See, that guy there, he's successful. He lives in, my town here in New York, the state, the town where it was Old Westbury, it's like Beverly Hills over there. The houses go for millions of dollars, $10-15 million. They got big estates over there. And, the people that do own them are very successful entrepreneurs. They're all businessmen. They own like oil companies and stuff like that. And they're executives in Manhattan. So that's like, that part of town's like Beverly Hills. So you would drive there and say, you could say, oh, that person's successful. They're living over there, where the property taxes are like $50,000, $60,000 a year. Okay, that's somebody's salary. Okay, but you know what? If I can ever get to that level, and I'm getting to a point where I'm living comfortable, and I'm drawing a nice income, and I have a nice house. Doesn't have to be a mansion, or a nice little car to drive around in. I don't have to. That's successful to me. I don't have to have a big executive building in Manhattan that's like the Trump Plaza. Success is based on different levels, how you look at it. But I think a lot of people get this mindset where, in order for me to be successful, like those guys, I have to make tons of money because I want to live like that there. I want that lifestyle. I want a big mansion. I want to drive around a Bentley or a Rolls Royce or a Ferrari or a Lamborghini. Look, don't follow other people's role, but don't let them be role models. You be your own role model. Okay? Take the horse by the rein, and do your own thing. That's what this whole thing is about. It doesn't say, when it says never give up on your dreams, it doesn't say never give up on Microsoft or never give up on Facebook. No, it's still got your dreams, not theirs. It's your dream, And that's the problem. People like to emulate other people's businesses. Like, yeah, I say, well, yeah, I would like to be like Walmart. I like retailing, right? I like to be like Walmart. Is it ever going to happen? May never happen. But if I can get in on a small ground level, where I'm making a decent income, where I'm content and happy, that's all that matters. And to me, that's my success. I mean, people say, well, you got in this day and age, you live once, life is short. Shoot for the stars. Some people don't have the resources to shoot for the stars, especially if you're working solo. And whatever little limited funds you have, that's going to make a difference in how you conduct your lifestyle. Remember one thing, as they say, don't put all your eggs in one basket. If you're going to start a business, have enough money to keep you going, like reserve. Because like I said again, I mean, I love doing what I do. I love doing my videos. I like the idea of selling online. I like the idea of trying to build a brand. But like I said in my other video, don't take your money that you have, your reserves, and blow it all on inventory. Make sure you got enough money to carry you for your bills, because let me tell you something. I'll be honest with you right now, it's slow. I mean, I'm dropping prices down on a lot of my merchandise for this month only. But I'm going to still drop them down eventually because I want to move them out. And it is slow, folks. It is slow. But you know what? I was on Twitter this morning, and I seen a thing from Formula One, and I'm going to post it up there. And, sometimes when you're thinking, you're just like sitting there pausing and thinking about, what you got to do next. Do I want this business? How am I going to make this business work? What can I do? Something comes up there, like just to remind you, like if let's say you're a person that's very doubtful, you say, yeah, I don't know, this business is, I don't know, it's not really for me. And sometimes that pops into your mind, And when I seen that thing on Twitter, and it said it's for Formula One racing car drivers, guys, it said never ever give up. And I'm going to post that picture there. I took a snapshot of it. And it was like somebody was telling me, like it was like somebody standing on my shoulder, next to my shoulder, saying, Rich, never ever give up. And sometimes in life you need a little push. And if it's not coming from a significant other or a friend or a partner or a coworker or whatever, sometimes you need to see something like that. And what really grabbed me about it is that thought did pass my mind for that second. Before I seen that, I said, because I was thinking, I said, man, it's so slow. I said, myself, sales are not as good as I thought they would be. And I said to myself, yeah, I don't know. I started getting doubtful. And when I clicked on my Twitter page, that was the first thing that popped into my face. Never ever give up. And that's what led me, folks, to make this video. And that's why I'm doing this video. Because we go through stages in our life where we don't know what the outcome is going to be. It's like the saying is the fear of the unknown. We don't know. We don't know what's going to happen next. Like I always tell my family and friends when we get talking and stuff, I say, people take life for granted. We go to sleep at night, we kiss our loved ones goodnight, our children and, sons and daughters, whatever, and our relatives. We get together for a gathering or whatever, and we hug and kiss at the end of the night and say, all right, like your kids, you tuck your kids in bed and you say, good night, girls, whatever, son, whatever, daughters. And then you don't know when you put your head in that pillow if you're going to wake up the next day. We don't know. We don't know what life holds. But at the same time, you got to keep living. And you got to keep doing the right thing, and you got to stay positive, right to the end. You got to stay positive. And the thing is, in any type of business, not just e-commerce, any business, you make mistakes. Don't dwell on them, right? Don't dwell on them, but you learn from them and you move on. Because if we sit here talking about our mistakes, I made a mistake, I can't do this, I did that wrong, I did this wrong. You might make that same mistake a couple times. Well, you ever hear the expression, I don't make the same mistake twice. It can happen a couple times. You might think you're doing something right the first time, and then you find out later on, no, it was wrong. So then you gotta do it again, so now you do it the second time. So when people say, I don't make the same mistake twice, that's a here and there, what I'm saying? I don't buy into that. Because, people can make ongoing mistakes, unfortunately. Depends on what kind of area you're in. If you're in a technical field, if you're dealing with programming or something, or if you're dealing with, like I was a mainframe and we worked on multi-platform systems, you could make a mistake working. We had different system commands for different systems, operating systems. So if I used a command for a system B and C, and I typed that command on a TSO1 system, the operation, the commands are different. You can't use those same commands on a system B system and vice versa. Because the command, the logic is not, it's not going to work for it. When you expel on those commands, it just doesn't work that way. But it is what it is, folks, and this is why I'm making this video. I've only been doing it a little over a year, probably a year and 2 months now, whatever it is, 3 months. I don't expect to be, people may say, well, come on, man. You're doing this for a little over a year. You expect it to be a successful businessman, whatever, or you think your business is going to make tons of money. No, I don't expect that. I'm not saying because I create a website and I put stuff on there on eBay that I'm going to be an overnight success. Heck no, I don't think like that. No way, I don't think like that. I never thought that way. But it does get a little disturbing that when you're making investments in merchandise, I don't have top of the line merchandise here. We're not talking thousands of dollars of items, but when you look at it and you say, geez, you're doing everything under the sun. You're practically like telling the people, here, please buy my stuff from me, and it just sits there. And as I said earlier, you got more merchandise, you got more bills coming in I mean, going out, going out, then coming in, the money coming in. That's what happens. But it is what it is, guys. But anyway, I don't want to keep rattling on about this here. If you like what I do with this video, if you got anything out of it, you want to please subscribe to my channel. If you like what I do with my videos, if you've seen my previous videos, please give them a thumbs up. And subscribe for updates. I do the reseller news. I don't know if I'm going to do it today, but I do the reseller news. I've been trying to do it it seems like it's almost like on a daily basis, but I don't know if it'll be too much. I mean, I don't want to overburden you guys with the same stuff with different topics. I basically talk about eBay, Amazon, and Etsy and stuff like that. I try to bring new things that come into play. But you're more than welcome to if you want to subscribe and get keep the updates. I'd really appreciate it. And if you like what I do, give them a thumbs up. If you get anything out of these videos, even this one here, I know it's going to be long, and but it's just to share with you guys, why it came about. Okay, and if you are new to this channel and you just bumped along into it, and you want to see who I am for the first time, and you want to subscribe, that'd be great. Maybe you might not want to subscribe. You might just want to see what I'm all about. You might say, hey, I want to see what this guy's all about. What's he talking about? It all depends. You might like the content I put out. Maybe you might get something out of it. It's something I want to share with you guys. I thought it'd be something worth sharing. That's why I did it. But anyway, I'm gonna let you guys go. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will talk to you guys in the next video. If you have any questions or comments about what I talked about in this video here, please don't hesitate to leave a comment. Don't leave any rude comments, any mean comments, call names or whatever. I do this here because, like I said, I do these videos to, try to inspire people. I know it sounds like I'm not inspiring people by talking, but I'm also being real in how I present myself and present what my thoughts are. So no, I'm not trying to discourage anybody from going to business at all. I don't want to see people not to give up on their ideas, but stay focused on what you want to do. Never give up. That's what I say. That's this title. Never give up on your dreams, because too many times people had ideas and they just let them go by, and life is ticking by. Every minute that goes by, every second, you're losing it. You're not getting that back. Every hour, month, week, year, day, you're not getting that back. And if you have any ideas that you want to pursue, try them. What can hurt? Try it. Try it on a small scale. Don't go full blown. Don't sit there and say, I'm going to invest $20,000, $30,000. And when it comes to, in closing, when it comes to, I hear a lot of numbers being thrown out there by people. I'm not mentioning names. I'm not going to mention any names, but I hear a lot of big numbers out there. And sometimes you keep hearing all the time. You say, I wonder if that's really true. I wonder if that could really work for me. If I follow that same person's model, can that work for me? Can I actually make $20,000, $30,000 a month? Can I actually do that? Can I do what that person's doing? When I hear these figures, I mean, I heard a figure of someone making over $100,000 a month. Look, I'm not saying it's impossible, folks. I already discussed this in one of my other videos. I mean, if there are people, I'm talking genuine, really people out there making that kind of money, kudos to you, man, and God bless you. That's great. That's a nice monthly income. You could do a lot with that. I mean, not of all of its profit, I know that. But I'm just saying, if you could generate an income like that, that's pretty good. You're doing really well for yourself. But again, my motto is, from my father's saying, believe what you see and only half of what you hear, folks. I'll leave you with that. Thanks again. I'll talk to you soon.